Welcome to this presentation from the Department of Sociology and Social Anthropology van die Departement van Sociologie en Sosiale Antropologie. Hier is my collega hierso, Jantjie Tsaba. Hy gaan by ons wees vandag om hierdie aanbieding aan julle te maak.
Sanamkela nathi namhlanje kuluvuyo nathi noChulumanco sibe sihlangana nani ngakumbe kule nkqubo kuba kulapho sizachaza khona banzi umsebenzi wethu kwi-Department of Sociology and Social Anthropology. Igama lami ndingugqirha uXaba, Dr. Xaba. I'm a lecturer in the Department of Sociology and Social Anthropology, and it's my pleasure to be presenting our offerings in the department with my colleague, Professor Lindy Heineken.
Right, so in today's presentation, we're going to be looking, I'm going to start off by looking at what is sociology and social anthropology. We're going to give a brief outline of our module offerings, and then our different degree programs where sociology and social anthropology either forms part of your choice, your degree choice, or is a major subject in the programs. And then last, we will look at some career possibilities that sociologists and social anthropologists pursue. So I'll hand over to my colleague at this point.
Now, the big question that we should be asking ourselves, that I'm sure you're also asking yourself, is what is sociology and why should we study sociology? Now, to answer this question, the answer is quite simple. When you look at sociology, it is a discipline within social sciences. When we say it is a social science, we mean that as sociologists, we engage in a pursuit of systematic knowledge. We apply certain scientific methods and theories in terms of understanding our society, understanding human social behavior, patterns of social relationships, and also how different people interact in our society. As a discipline, our focus is more on finding solutions to complex questions through our research, data analysis, high-level critical thinking. And this really means that our graduates, when they leave our discipline, they enter the job market with considerable advantage because the degree hones the development of critical thinking, problem-solving skills, data collection and data analysis, interpersonal and cross-cultural skills, communication skills, and research skills. There are many subdisciplines in our field of sociology as reflected in our academic offering. For example, when you look at our offerings in the department from first year up until third year, you find a diverse pool of modules that we're presenting and themes that we are presenting to our students. You find modules that talks about the social movements, modules that talks about health. We have people who have capabilities, skills to help us unpack and understand difficult questions about things like gender, how we come to understand who we are, different classes in society, how relationships are formed, the religion as an institution in society, what it means to our identity, to us as individuals. We also look at people we look at issues of political sociology, politics as an institution in society, how it impacts on our behavior. We look at issues of sexuality. Even the economy is very important for us because our economy today is now operating beyond our geographic borders. We look at the impact of the multinationals on our economy, on our labor, how workers themselves within the workplaces operate. There is a lot that we're presenting. There's also something on inequality and violence. These are all important social questions that we as sociologists are trying to understand in our discipline of sociology. I'll hand over to my colleague.
So the question next is then, how does this differ from social anthropology? Because as I mentioned, our department offers two different disciplines. So social anthropology is really the study of human society and cultures, and social anthropologists seek to understand how people live in societies and how they make their lives meaningful. So anthropologists are concerned with questions such as how societies are organized, the relationship between values and behavior, and why people do what they do. So social anthropology tries to overcome stereotypes about other people whose way of life may appear strange to us by studying the way they experience life from their own perspectives. And if you are fascinated by different cultures, past and present, and intrigued by how this impacts relationships, how it affects work roles, gender roles, how it affects social institutions, then sociology is a good foundation. And like sociology, anthropology is a very rich discipline. There are many different facets associated with it. It looks at things like belief systems, at kingship networks. It looks at issues of identity, of culture, as I've mentioned, in terms of rituals. So it's quite a wide field in terms of the scope of the discipline. So I'll hand back to my colleague now, who will discuss our offering on what is our sociology offering.
Now, when you enroll in our discipline sociology, it's a 3-year. You find that you have to do a first year, second year, and third year. And the question is, what is in it that we are offering at first year level? What we do in the first semester, we present a module called Introduction to Sociology and Social Anthropology. Here, the focus really is on the conceptual and theoretical themes in sociology and social anthropology. We look at questions of inequality, stratification, questions of culture and identity. And then in the second semester, then we look at selected social issues in South Africa. Here, we also look at issues around, for instance, education, family, issues around poverty and development. We have a wide variety of themes and different voices. We have different lecturers presenting in each of these modules. And at second year level, then you have 4 modules that we do, 2 modules that we do in the first semester. The first one is poverty, development, and the environment, which is very straightforward. Poverty is one of the biggest issues that the country is currently grappling with. And then also we have social identity and inequality. Once again, as the country is grappling with the scourge or the problem of the pandemic, we're looking at issues of inequalities and how this is impacting on different sections of society. Then in the second semester, we look at sociology of communication. Communication is very important for connecting, bringing people together, and how we communicate with one another. And then the last module in the second semester is the industrial sociology, where we typically look at the idea of work, how we understand work in society, and how this idea has changed over time. Then in the third year level, in the first semester, we have political sociology and sociological theory. Now, my learned colleague here, Professor Heineken, is one of the presenters in this particular year level. She presents political sociology. She's a specialist on issues of military. And then we also have sociological theory. We now have a much more focused kind of presentation on theory, because we've already alluded in the first place that we do theory from first year all the way to third year. Then second semester, third year, you have social research, which is compulsory. All students do social research, but they have a choice between sociology of work and employment and community development. So I'll hand over to my colleague.
Right, so now we will look at the social anthropology offering, which is quite different to the sociology offering. What is important for you to understand is that from the second year, you can take both sociology and social anthropology. So we have 2 disciplines that you can take as part of your programs. So the first year is combined, and so the second year, the sociology and social anthropology runs as 2 independent disciplines. So we start off with social anthropological themes, which focuses on aspects such as beliefs and rituals and social dynamics. And the next module on offered in our first semester of the second year is medical anthropology, looking at issues of illness and health, and issues such as stigma associated with this, and how different segments of the population are affected differently by health issues. In the second semester, we focus on public anthropology, looking at identity politics, religion and cultural conflict, and then ending of the second year looking at some South African anthropological issues, looking at the anthropological research that has been done in the country. In our third year, we do reading and doing ethnography. Ethnography is a method of research associated with social anthropology. And then the other module is culture, power, and identity. And then in the second semester of the third year anthropology, we're looking at theories and debates in social anthropology, and then ending off with the anthropology of development. And these modules are then seen in various programs as that Dr. Chaba will now go through.
So you are now probably wondering, if I come to Stellenbosch and I want to do either sociology or social anthropology, which degree program do I need to register for? Now, to answer this question, when you look at our yearbook, you'll find that if you want to do sociology or social anthropology, you can register for BA program in humanities, or BA program in social dynamics, or BA program in development and environment, a BA program in human resource management, or BA program in international studies, BA program in political, philosophical, and economic studies, or BA program in social work, BA program in sports science, or visual arts. Looking at the yearbook, you'll find that there are requirements in terms of what you need to have to be able to qualify to register for these programs. But another question is, what can I do with my qualification as a sociologist in social anthropology? Professor Heineken will answer that question for you.
Thank you, Yangi, for that. Well, that's always the big question that you have, is what am I going to be able to do with this discipline? Now, you will see on the slide that in terms of employment, sociologists work in the business sector. We find them in administration and advertising and consumer relations, obviously in human resources, even insurance. A lot of journalists have sociology as a foundation subject, and of course labor relations, given the emphasis on the sociology of work, also market analysis, project managers, and so forth. Also in terms of community affairs, working in organizations involved with welfare, health, housing, environmental issues, residential planning, and then in the non-profit sector, working for NGOs in various fields, in government, at local, provincial, and national level. We find sociologists working at municipality or doing research for municipalities, as many of our students are doing, even in foreign service, in working for human rights organizers on human rights issues as information officers, and then of course policy research, so social research. Many of sociologists end up in doing social research. We also find sociologists being teachers or being in education, in the education sector. Public health education, records and registration, school counseling, and so forth, and also in the legal environment. So a lot of law students find it very useful to do sociology because we are ultimately dealing with societal problems and issues. So that, in a nutshell, is the kind of field. It's a very broad field. And why can sociologists and anthropologists do that? Is because in our modules, the skills that we develop is your writing skills, your language skills, your communication skills. So those are the skills that we hone, how to write and debate, data analysis, a solid foundation in both quantitative and qualitative research. And of course, the nature of our discipline is to to ensure that there is a degree of cultural awareness within our students, so that when we are dealing with issues, to do this in a way which is not only politically correct, but also sensitive to the different needs of different segments of society. And then last but no means least is to develop the critical thinking skills of students, the fact that we teach them various theories, for example, enables them to look at problems from different perspectives and with different lenses. And then just briefly to sort of close this presentation, where do some of our past students work? And I'm talking of my very own students. Some of our students have opened their own businesses as policy analysts and researchers doing social risk. We have students working for the US Embassy, for example, doing risk analysis. We've got students that are working in human resource issues, on transformation issues, in government, such as Department of Social Development. Even students working for Standard Bank, doing research and analysis. So really all over and very different lines of work. So if you want to find out about more information, here is the website that you can go to, and you should be able to find all the relevant information. We are currently in the process of updating our website with all the latest module content, and with that I will then hand over to my colleague next to me, Dr. Tsaba.
Wow, thank you very much, Professor Hanneken. I think one thing that you forgot to mention is that you were the first person under the Nelson Mandela regime to be consulted to provide advice as a sociologist on the formation of military trade unions. Wow, that is amazing. Now, colleagues, we've said enough about sociology and social anthropology. I guess the question is, what are you waiting for? If you want to get in touch with the department, you can go to our departmental website. You'll find the profiles of our sociologists and social anthropologists and information about our student admin officer, Ms. Janae Gabriels. And if you have the opportunity to be on campus, you can make an appointment to see one of our professors and talk to them about sociology or social anthropology. So, siyanebulela nonke ngokuthabatha ke ithuba nephulaphule konke sikwenzayo apha kweli cala eStellenbosch University kwi-Department of Sociology and Social Anthropology. Onse in Afrikaans, baie dankie, enkosi kakhulu. Thank you very much.